Hey, World Entertainment, and of course we know there's going to be a brand new Batman in the DCEU at some stage, and of course the Batman Part 2 should be coming at some stage, but Ben Affleck, that's right, our last Batman, is actually reflecting on his time as Batman and basically where it all went wrong for him at least, and he's touching on the overall experience of playing Batman for both Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon and stuff, and what it was like and where basically it fell apart for his interest to even continue in superhero movies altogether. So let's have a look at this, because it's actually interesting and he kind of gets quite open about it as well. So it says, initially, the news that Ben Affleck would play the Dark Knight in Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice drew a mixed response from fans. The actor proved his detractors wrong with the 2016 movie, but it received negative reviews and underperformed at the box office. And just before I continue, I remember when Ben Affleck got announced, I was one of those people, not that went, oh my god, this is a terrible choice. I was one that said, I can see him being a really good Bruce Wayne. It's just what happens when the cowl goes on. Can he pull that off? And he absolutely did. He was fantastic. So this continues saying, still, he went all in on the DCEU and made a cameo appearance in Suicide Squad before returning in Justice League. Affleck's experience working with filmmaker Joss Whedon on the movie's reshoots soured him on the role, and he ultimately decided to walk away from his and Jeff Johns' version of Batman. While he was somehow talked into returning for The Flash and an eventual Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, the latter project was scrapped when DC Studios was formed, i.e. the DCU, and James Gunn decided Batman would be recast for the DCU. For whatever reason, Affleck has made it clear he has little to no interest in working with the filmmaker, so there's zero chances of him donning the cape and cowl for Brave and the Bold. And of course that one was funny because James Gunn was trying to say, oh, we didn't get rid of Ben Affleck. And he was like, we've had a meeting with him and it went great and we're looking forward to doing something with him. And Affleck came, even said, direct something for us. And Affleck came right out after he said that and got asked, hey, is that true? And he was like, no, there's nothing that would make me work with him. So, continues, talking to GQ for The Accountant 2, Affleck reflected on his time as the Cape Crusader, saying, I had a really good time. I loved doing Batman movie. I loved Batman vs Superman. And I liked my brief stints on The Flash that I did, and when I got to work with Viola Davis on Suicide Squad for a day or two. Now, when he's saying the Batman movie, I think he's talking about he enjoyed his time, like, developing the story and stuff that ultimately we never got. But it continues anyway saying, or he's saying, in terms of creativity, I really think that I liked the idea and the ambition that I had for it, which was of the sort of older, broken, damaged Bruce Wayne. And it was something we really went for in the first movie. Affleck then went on to share his take on where it all went wrong for his Batman, saying, what happened was it started to skew too old for a big part of the audience. Like, even my own son at the time was too scared to watch the movie, the actor explained. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, we have a problem. Then I think that's when you had a filmmaker that wanted to continue down that road, and a studio that wanted to recapture all the younger audience at cross purposes, he added, alluding to Zack Snyder's clash with Warner Brothers and how that ultimately led to the two different versions of Justice League. And Affleck said, when you have two entities, two people really wanting to do something different, and that is a really bad recipe. So that's where he's talking about, he wanted the movie to pretty much stay in the PG-13 realm. It sounds like Snyder wanted to go darker with it, and Warner Brothers was like, no, you can't do that. And then this part just says that his version of Batman was going to pit him against Deathstroke, and that the scrapped post-credits scene for The Flash was when he was going to be trapped in a different reality, but of course they got rid of that version. But then the part where he's talking about Justice League happening was this, saying, while the tragic death of his daughter led to Zack Snyder walking away from Justice League, it's hard to shake the feeling Warner Brothers would have always had Joss Whedon at the helm of those reshoots. We know the Avengers director's script changes were thrust upon Snyder before he departed the movie, and the belief was clearly that, given the success he'd found in the MCU, Whedon could transform it into a hit. While what we ended up with definitely rhymes with hit, the critical and commercial bomb ruined Whedon's career amid a series of damaging allegations about his behaviour on set. Those opened the floodgates, and the disgraced filmmaker no longer appears welcome in Hollywood. Talking to GQ, Ben Affleck, who has previously said Justice League was the worst experience I've ever seen in a business which is full of shitty experiences, talked more about the experience shooting the film. And this is what he said about that. There are a number of reasons why that was a really excruciating experience. And they don't all have to do with the simple dynamic of, say, being a superhero movie or whatever. I'm not interested in going down that particular genre again. Not because of that bad experience, but just I've lost interest in what was of interest about it to me. But I certainly wouldn't want to replicate an experience like that. A lot of it was misalignment of agendas, understandings, expectations. And also, by the way, I wasn't bringing anything particularly wonderful to that equation at that time either. I had my own failings, significant failings in that process and at that time. And saying here, in 2023, Affleck revealed that the time he spent working on those reshoots in London contributed to him drinking too much, as it was either that or jump out the window. Despite that, he has praised Zack Snyder for getting his cut of Justice League on HBO Max, saying this, I like a lot of the stuff we did, especially the first one, BVS. And now, Zack Snyder's Justice League is my highest rated movie on IMDb. Say what you want, it is my highest rated career movie. I've never had one that went from nair to pinnacle. Retroactively, it's a hit. So, out of all the movies Ben Affleck has ever done, Zack Snyder's, the Snyder Cut of Justice League, is his highest rated movie on IMDb. But you're hearing there where he gets quite open about the fact of, yeah, look, I didn't exactly show up in great form and great shape or anything like that for the reshoots. I was pretty much on the booze all the time as well. And of course, everyone pointed that out. It was like, you can see the difference between the Snyder Cut and the Whedon version, because it's like, he's massive in the Snyder version and he's very skinny and not exactly well looking in the Whedon version. It's like, wow, there was quite the change there, and it's because he fell off the wagon. He went back on the booze. I think the biggest and saddest takeaway from the whole thing with Ben Affleck, with the whole experience of Batman, is that we never got the standalone movie with him. Think of that. He's the only person to play Batman on the big screen that never actually played him in a solo movie. That's insane. And now, of course, with James Gunn in charge, God knows what's happening with Batman, because he wants one thing while the company wants another, which is, hey, we've just had this massive hit with the Penguin. Where the hell is the sequel to The Batman? And James Gunn seems to be doing everything to try and sabotage that, from saying the script isn't finished to saying, oh, we can't have this at this time, to now even trying to take bloody some of the cast away to, hey, we'll just take one of your main people and try and give them to be one of our main characters. Either way, sucks that we never got an Affleck standalone Batman movie. I think we were all hoping to see that. But there you go, he's reflecting on his time. He says he enjoyed a lot of it, and then a big chunk of it, mainly through the reshoots, he didn't, and he wasn't in a good place for that either at the time. So, it is what it is, I suppose. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.